Hi, everybody. Welcome to this Go Global conversation. I'm really happy to welcome my guest today, Wassim Merheby, who's the CEO of Verofax. But first, just a quick introduction about Go Global in case you're new to us. We work to accelerate the growth, scale, and global expansion of early stage tech startups. We have over 25 years of experience. We have a global network. We help startups to raise growth capital. We help them onboard strategic partners, and we help them win corporate customers so that they can hit their growth targets ahead of their next round of funding. And we do this because we envision a world that's healthier, happier, wealthier, better educated, better connected, flourishing, and fulfilled. And we believe that technology and innovation have the power to do this because they can address global challenges at scale. And so the person I'm going to be speaking with today, Wassim, is a great example of all of this as the CEO of Verofax. So I'm happy to welcome Wassim. Hi, Wassim.
Hi, how are you, Tara?
I'm very happy to be speaking with you.
Same here. Thank you. Thank you for choosing me and Verofax for this. It's a pleasure to be actually sharing the experiences, with all of your future partners. Thank you.
Thank you. So Go Global likes to do these interviews to share what's possible, to share examples, to inspire, to show what's possible when you have vision, when you combine technology and innovation with business to address challenges. So these are some of the things that Wassim and I are going to be talking about today. But as a point to begin, Wassim, could you please share a bit about your background and some of the experiences that you had that led you to create Verofax?
Sure. I'll keep it a bit short.
Sure.
So the majority of my life, since I graduated, the majority of my life, I worked with global companies as an employee, basically. Most notably with Nokia Telecom, and then later on that was acquired by Microsoft in 2009, 10, and that's when I had decided that I wanted to become a channel partner, so working with Microsoft, not for Microsoft anymore. And I had the chance, and that was my first venture basically into business. So it's been a little over 12 years that in a way I'm an entrepreneur. I became a channel partner, grew the business. I was given the opportunity in Iraq, and there, after 5 years of building that business, there was actually a bit of a turmoil with ISIS coming there. I had to leave the country, start all over again. And we keep learning in life. Every challenge is an opportunity to learn. So that's when I decided, okay, no more inventory, no more credit in the market, no more getting anchored into a specific geography or country. And the next venture that I'm gonna get into is gonna be into something where there is a certain IP, patents, IP. Not linked to a geography, and that is really more focused on software solutions and experiences. And that's exactly what we've done. We've built Verofax as a company that enables more secure e-commerce, validation of product, and better engagement between brand consumers and brand and consumers mainly. So this is me in a nutshell.
Good. Well, I know the story goes deeper, but you highlighted something there that I think is important about business addresses a challenge, solves a problem, and it does it at scale, and it does it in a sustainable way. So there are a couple things there that you mentioned. One is building a software company, so something that doesn't have inventory, it's not, physically linked to any space, and also thinking globally. So, Go Global, we work with startups that are solving global challenges so they can see that put into place, this is going to be applicable all over the world. That's not to say it's going to be applicable in the same way, because there's still local needs that need to be, we need to be sensitive too, but just that your how this has shaped your thinking is, I'm really glad you mentioned it because that's one of the things I wanted you to highlight. So can you talk a little bit more about Verofax itself in terms of what is the promise? Help us understand, because I want people, if Verofax can be a solution for them, you know, I'm going to put some information near this video so that they can connect with you. But why is Verofax a technology that makes our lives better? How does it work?
Well, I mean, today there are a number of challenges that we solve, you know, specifically when it comes to brands around the world. Depending on the market, they could be facing something like a counterfeit of up to 25%. You find Nikes, you know, not available on Amazon simply because, you know, there's so much counterfeit happening there. So brand protection is the first challenge that we solve. And, you know, and the counterfeit doesn't only reduce your sales, it actually negatively impacts your brands because people are paying full price thinking they're buying, you know, the original thing. But then when you take that into, you know, the healthcare sector, or, you know, the food for infants, then the risk becomes serious, and, you know, the risk of death becomes also a problem. And every single month, somewhere around the world, there is a scandal about products that are being, you know, that are being consumed or purchased or something. And so we came up with the idea of turning the product from an offline product into every product having a unique identity. It is connected, it is verifiable. You're able to audit all the information, all the certificates linked to the product. You're able to interact directly with consumer, provide them with that auditability, the transparency. Is your product sustainable? Engage with your consumers, show them how you can actually, how you're delivering a certain footprint offset, or, you know, or how does it rate versus the industry average. But all of that is not possible unless you're able to create that unique digital identity for every product. Just like humans, you're not allowed to go behind a, you know, to drive a car if you don't have a driving license, or leave the country without a passport. So similarly, the product have to have those identifiers that allows for certain transactions to happen securely, transparently, you know, for the better of everyone. I hope that that's clear.
Yeah,
Your audience.
Yeah, good. And, you know, we're starting to talk a little bit about Web 3.0, about bringing everything online, having access to all these things. So Verofax is doing this. It's doing this in a very simple way, a very easy to implement way, a very cost-effective way. So this is another reason that we like Verofax, and it has lots of applications. So I'll make sure that our viewers have you know where to find you if this is something. We were just talking to someone yesterday, actually. She's a very small business owner, and she has a product and it's being manufactured in Asia, and she said, I can't patent the product, and it's easy to copy. And so we were talking to her about you, because this is a way that someone can verify that that product came from her. It's a product of her brand. Even without being able to patent the product, people can still feel confident that it came from her company. In a very
Absolutely, and that's how we're you know, we're engaged with similar brands. Some of them are Fortune 500 companies, and some of them are, you know, small startups or companies, where they do have a need to engage directly with the consumer, to explain to them the brand, you know, the brand attributes, to explain to them, to validate for them that the product was maintained in the right condition. You know, if a product needs a certain cold chain management, how can me as a consumer do it without having to trust the retailer and the logistics and, you know, the manufacturer, distributor? I want to validate it before I give it to my child, and I need to be empowered to do so. And I think this is where we can help. So it's safety, or it's validation of the product, or its attribute, or it's sustainable certification.
Yeah, I'm glad you said sustainable, because this is a very I think it's beyond trendy now to talk about sustainability. It's built into the system now, and Verofax is able to show the sustainability of a product, of a process. So I think this is another way that you are you are making life better for us is giving consumers the power to make choices around the products that they're buying.
Yeah, and I think on sustainability, it's not about the fashionability, right? It's all about the really. I mean, we only have this one planet, right? And we need to we need to we need to all be responsible for it. I mean, there's no we share the same planet, same atmosphere. We're spewing too much into it, and we need to start taking action. And that's why we're not just offering sustainable validation, but we're actually engaged with different startups, companies, with education advisors on how to bring about, to inform everyone, 100 million consumers, hopefully, that they can now measure the product sustainable rating, and they can actually vote with their wallet to for greener products in order to shift the companies to offer more sustainable range. And I think this is extremely important for us to really have a chance in this line.
I agree. I agree, Wassim. I don't think there are many people who debate the situation that we're in, but people don't often know what to do. How can I be effective? So this is where Verofax is really powerful. So thank you for all that work that you're doing. I'd like to shift our conversation now into talking about how you built the business, kind of more how you jumped through different stages of growth. As an example, before we started work, before GoGlobal started working with you, what does that look like? Because I think you've had like a textbook kind of growth. We started with this amount of seed funding. We used that funding to do these activities. And then, so can you talk about that a little bit, your stages of growth?
Sure.
At what stages you raised capital, what you did with that capital, etc.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, and you mentioned something, I think I'm blessed that I've taken that leap into the startup after having worked for like 20 years with global companies, right? So that has formed, my focus to be not just on building a company for the network or for the glamour, or we built the company with a focus on how to deliver revenue and how to get there quick, and how then to become even cash positive, and focus on the profitability by applying applying all the levers possible. The partnerships with Microsoft. I think this is how we were introduced, right? And then also having different kind of networks around the globe in order for us to scale up fast. And obviously, as you rightly said, knowing how to plan ahead, like 2 or 3 or 4 stages ahead, to make sure that you're not going to run out of resources, that you always have some money in your war chest. So initially, we for example, when we started in 2019, it was Jamil and myself as 2 co-founder with an idea to turn every product, recognizable, verifiable, and so on and so forth, like Google did with the internet, right? They were tagging everything. They were giving the attributes for every single website, and we had the same idea for the physical world, the physical goods around us. But it was just an idea. So at the time, we didn't want to raise too much money and get too diluted, and at the same time, we wanted to make sure that we're planning exactly where do we spend that money in order to get us from a pre-seed round into the seed round. Then from the seed round, when do we go into the pre-series A round, and then the A round, and so on and so forth, and really simulate all of that, and have as much discussions internally or with the lawyers, or across the board. So in summary, I think we're lucky that we found actually the right people as well on that front to help us along the way. Some of them we could afford them, some of them we couldn't. So we applied the ESOP a lot. And I think the fact that we got selected by Microsoft as part of their growth X, and then they introduced us to some amazing supporters like GoGlobal. And as you rightly said, and building a relationship that is not only focused on fundraising, but again, keeping an eye on the ball and an eye on the goal, right? So it's not only the fundraising, but it is how do we actually also get revenue? How do we engage with clients? How do we scale globally? So build that true partnership. I think that's extremely important.
Thank you for sharing that, Wassim. Can you go a little bit deeper, because there's when we started working with you, when GoGlobal started working with you, I noticed that you were very selective in who you talked to. I mean, you were really open to talking to anybody, but you were really selective in who you brought on in partnership as an investor, and you did it very strategically. And I was observing, you were oversubscribed for your seed round. I think you were oversubscribed for this bridge round, and for someone else who's seeking funding, for someone else who's growing their business, can you talk a little bit about your thought process behind how you're choosing who to engage with, who to go move forward with as an investor, as a partner, that kind of thing? Because I think that will be really helpful for others.
Sure, absolutely. So, and I think, yes, you're absolutely right. I've given the overview, but the detail is always the most important part. So, when you're still in early startup, you need to go to high net worth individuals that know you, maybe that know of you, that believe that you have what it takes to make the idea come to life. And then when you're a seed company, you need to start, interacting with certain angel rounds, that can actually give you access to a number of investors at once. You're able to have VCs on your cap table. That is referenceable, that's referenceability, which is extremely important as well. And then beyond the seed round, you need to have more VCs and start preparing for those bigger rounds. You have to keep in mind, how do you also manage your cap table? Like not having certain individuals that could be looked at as PEP, or individuals that could be, not necessarily adding strategic value to your business. So yes, you have to be selective, and you have to be, very clear on who you need to approach. Otherwise, you waste too much time trying, and you will end up trying to raise all the time, and it's not happening.
Yeah, good. Okay, good. Thank you, Wassim. Can you share a little bit about your experience working with GoGlobal for someone who might be thinking about working with us, or who think we could be helpful in helping them grow? Could you give a little bit of an example so that they could get a more concrete idea of what it looks like to work with GoGlobal?
Sure. So, I mean, we first met, via an introduction of Microsoft Growth X, and then we had met with a number of recommended partners to help us secure funding. That was the scope. But I think talking to you and Esra, we quickly realized that, you take things to heart. If you like a project and you take it to heart, then you're treating us like family. You're thinking of, you're actually structured in how you schedule a weekly meeting, have a touch point, discuss all of our challenges, not only the fundraising, but what is it that will move the needle on BizDev? Who are the clients that you believe could match, our services? And then also looking at, our funding, understanding, if we're saying, no, we don't want to meet this VC, or we don't want to meet that regional kind of high net worth individual, you're understanding to our, and our perspective. And I think this is extremely important. I mean, beyond anything, this is a partnership. And if you have the wrong person in your corner, the friction is going to waste too much effort that is extremely valuable, too much time that is extremely valuable. I think, for startups looking to to get more wind under their wings.
That's a good,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so I
Avoid the
would say the
friction.
structure. Yeah, I would say the structure, the focus on biz dev, and definitely, having that understanding, approachable, conversation, personable conversation. I think that's what really made it great dealing with.
Thank you, Wassim. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so I want to go back to something that you were talking about in term when you and Jamid were at the beginning, and you just had an idea, and you were having conversations with people. This first money that you're bringing in, the first investment, when you don't have anything in your hand, so this is one of the challenges of being an early stage startup. I mean, that was idea stage even, but Go Global, kind of our sweet spot is early stage. So you're in the market, you're getting ready to go to Series A, so you have a product. But even at this stage, it can be challenging to try and explain new technology, new solutions to problems. So can you talk about that a little bit? Because I say it's one thing to sell, tires for your car. It's another thing to sell blockchain to Fortune 500 companies. So can you talk a little bit about the challenges of this, and then also the opportunity? Because we had a conversation about your early investors. I think you said they were able to times X their investment. So can you talk about the challenges of being idea early stage, and then also the opportunities?
Yeah, so I mean, exactly. I think you tied it up well as well. The people that are betting early, they need to know you personally. They need to know that you have the right experience to make things happen. That the money that they're putting in, that they're entrusting you, is something that you're going to put to use to bring that solution really to be something that will be in demand. They will be validating just a few information and betting, and the bet is quite hard, but that's when it pays back the most, right? And that's what happens over with us. So our early investors, maybe are exiting on the A round. We already have the buyback agreement. They're getting about 10 times their money in a matter of 2 years, so they're all happy. But obviously they bet money, and they needed to make sure that it's going to happen. And so for that, I think you need to be very, I think when you're starting, you need to be very stringent on all the expenditure. You need to be working extremely hard yourself, recruiting as little as possible, trying to use every single dollar that is offered for you for free, in order to stretch that dollar, that investment that you've received, as much as possible. But then very soon, the moment that you have your product ready and you need to go to the market and you need to talk about the solution, you need to also quickly switch your mind from talking about technology, be it blockchain or AI or AR. Nobody wants to hear about that. They want to hear about what it brings to them. So you need to quickly switch your mindset, quickly start ramping up your, so when you've received your next stage of money, quickly start recruiting the best talent that are really able to turn a technological solution or innovation into a value proposition that the client really needs, and they're able to connect those two, to understand what the client need and where your solution is is solving a problem, and then really turn all of your communication and all of your approach to be focused on the client, on their needs, and really just focus on how you're unique and how you can do it better, lower cost, delivering better value, and then you're able to succeed. So it's really like changing gears. It's all about, so pre-seed is gear one. You have to change to a very different gear when you're like, beyond the seed round.
Yeah, good. And we're seeing that in our meetings we're having with you. When we were talking with investors, it was a different conversation. Now it's about, we're talking with potential clients of yours, and it's really understanding what are their challenges and how Verofax is a solution. So that's a great example. Okay, Wassim, I know I've kept you for a long time and you're very busy, but I have one more question for you, and we can use this to bring it to a close. What are you most excited about right now, and what do you see is possible in your industry? That you have hope for the future. What is it that you're excited about?
I think I think there's several emerging technologies that we're today exploiting in order to build a company that delivers that delivers tech for tech solutions, but also tech for humanity. Um, we sometimes forget that we live in a world that still a lot of people are disenfranchised. They're living in poverty. They have poor education. They don't have access to a lot that will that will make that will give them a fair chance in life. So I think it's important to also keep an eye on like how can technology be great for business and even better for the society, humanity, and so on and so forth. So we're quite excited that we're bringing that together. We're bringing the focus on sustainability, on helping, companies also focus on, the humanitarian element and the environmental element, with validated, for example, ESG, right, attributes and so on. It's very exciting times. Growth is going to happen. We have to keep we have to make it a responsible growth. That's it.
Good, good. Thank you, Wassim. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, I think definitely, wouldn't have been possible without GoGlobal. And this is not just, this is us speaking from the heart. It's been an amazing journey. With GoGlobal, we've had 500 startup invest in us. Dubai angel investors invest in us, and a few other very strategic investors, and that have the network that there are. So it's not just the direct network, but actually, the extended network that GoGlobal brought us, on BizDev as well as on fundraising to secure our future and our growth. So, thank you so much, Tara and Esther.
Thank you, Wassim. We'll end it here, but the story is not over. So stay tuned.
Sure.
And for those watching, please, I welcome you to share your top takeaway in the comments. What is it that you got out of this interview? And if this can be helpful to someone else, please share. I'll leave information for Wassim in the description for this video so you can connect and go check out Verofax. And with that, I will thank you, Wassim, for joining me, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Take care.